Good morning.
Good morning.
Everybody loves Madonna.
Good morning. Right?
Yep.
Come on. She froze.
Oh my God.
Oh, funny. Okay, guys. Good morning. How are you guys?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Always
What a way
nice
to
to
start off
start
the day.
with fun music and a way to get your, like I said, get your blood flowing besides your detox streak.
Yes.
Hopefully I win.
I'm running low.
I know that will be tonight at 8 o'clock. And 2. So how's everybody doing?
Good.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
It's so nice. We need to do an episode where we're outside on the beach. So we got to plan that. So that way,
Okay.
We'll do that next week.
I know, right?
Hey, what if we do like Girls' Day at Glen Ivy when they do they open up Tuesday?
I think they're already open.
We'll have
Really?
to check.
Are they
We'll have to
open?
see if they're open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could do that, like a live broadcast from Glen Ivy with our mud masks on.
Yeah, that would be cool. That's gonna push us to get fit.
Right? Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, how funny. We have the same taste.
I know. I was just commenting on that too. It looks so nice.
It does.
I love the little theme that you have going on. It's so cute. I love it.
It is.
Thank you very much. Well, another week in real estate. So, it's something that we do every day. We're plugging away every day. Different scenarios, different, sellers calling, different buyers calling, wanting to know, what could they do? I mean, you'd be surprised how many people's lives change from one minute to another. I get calls and it's like, hey, all of a sudden I'm ready to do this. And it's people that you don't ever think are going to want to do anything. But life changes in a matter of minutes sometimes. So you never know, where you're going to be at. So that's why we'd like to give you the update so you guys know what's going on. Good morning, Katie. How are you?
Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Josie. Good morning, Josie.
Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you. So
Yes, thank
Jessica, show us what we're looking at.
Right there.
So it looks like for Chino. So currently there's 98 active listings, which is more than there was a week ago. I know that. So we've gone up about 20.
I just added one more this morning to your Chino.
Yeah. It's amazing, so, and then 40 are under contract, which was more than last week. So more people are in escrow. 28 have closed, which is a little bit more than last week as well. So you look again, average list price to average sales price. Again, with Chino, it's the city varies. There's a lot of newer homes. There's a lot of older homes. It's really tough because not every home is the same.
Right.
So that's why you're going to see the different pricing that, where it looks like that. Believe me, there's still multiple offers. There's still a lot of activity. So don't be discouraged at all if it's something that you're looking at. You want more information. It's important for you to get the facts on your home, so that way you know what it is that you're looking at. So an average days on the market, 24 days, which again is not much. It's that's pretty fast if you think about it. From the day you put your sign up to the day you're in escrow, so you're out of your home within 60 days, easy. So you got to be ready. Definitely be ready. Yeah, ready. And so what else are we looking at, Jessica?
For Jurupa Valley?
So for Jurupa Valley, and for those of you who don't know where that is, it's actually right off. It's in Riverside, but it is right off the 60 freeway between the 15 and the 215. It's a lot of the properties in Jurupa Valley there's a lot of mixture as well. A lot of it is horse property. There's half acres. You have new communities as well, but it's it's county, so it's not really city. It's a county development area. So here you have 113 active listings on the market, 50 under contract, 37 closed. Average list price $457 and average sales price $444, with average days on the market 34. So, but I'll be honest with you, what I've seen so far, just in the last 4 days in this city, most of the homes, especially the ones with land, the ones that have, the half acre or more, those homes are selling honestly within days for 20 to 40,000 above. It's crazy right now. So, I have a couple clients looking in the area, and it's just, I've been really studying it, and the homes are just really being, outbidded because there's so many buyers and people want the land. They want more of a yard. They want more, for different reasons. Maybe it has a pool, it has a detached workshop. I mean, there's a lot of that out here. So just depending on what it is that you're looking for, but yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at there. Definitely a competitive market there. Eastvale, another competitive market. There's a lot of new homes in Eastvale, but right now there's currently 40 listings on the market, 62 under contract, 22 have closed. And if you notice the sales price versus list price, Eastvale is it's a high demand area. Schools are really good. The ratings are great. A lot of people like, Roosevelt High School, the sports and just everything that the city has to offer. So I think that's why the prices definitely stay, they stay pretty strong in that area. And like I said, most of them are newer. It's a newer area. And they do have a lot of new development as well. It's borderline to Chino. So there's new homes even in Chino. And it's also borderline to Ontario, which there's new homes in Ontario and the Ontario Ranch area. And it's borderline to Jurupa Valley. So it's, and there's new development everywhere. So pretty nice. And we're told that whatever is available right now for new construction is what is going to remain. The builders don't plan on building more than what they have already, because they don't want us to get into, there's too much inventory. They want to keep it to how it is right now, where there's more buyer demand than seller demand, or than, seller product, because they want to keep the prices remaining steady. So it's pretty interesting how they're doing things different than they did them back in 2007, 2008, where they overbuilt and then all that happened. So they're taking things a lot smarter now, this time around. So that's why we see the prices just continuing to be steady or increasing in certain areas. So what is up next?
Redlands. Woo woo.
Redlands, Catherine.
Well, kind of my hometown, basically. Okay, so basically in Redlands, there are 40 active listings on the market. 77 are pending under contract, which is good. And then also 55 have closed. So it's gone up consistently. We're still not through with the month yet, but I can see a steady pace of growth, which is very great. Good. So, and then our average list price is $520, and our average sale price is $509. So it's right there, right hand in hand, not too far off. But you're definitely going to get a lot of equity if you're a seller out there for sure. And the average days on the market are 32. So that's a great thing. They're going fast. And with a lot of my buyers as well is that when, show right away and put in offers right away because they don't stay on the market very long. So definitely got to be aggressive with our offers and be quick to look at homes if we're with a buyer. And then also that means that we do need more inventory. So if there's people out there that you know or that you're a seller out there that needs to sell, definitely give us a call because we definitely need more inventory out there for buyers for sure. But it's going well. It's steady pace for sure. So
Yeah.
that's Redlands for you.
Then we have Highland, East Highland.
That's nice. I don't know what's going on, but we're live and my thing keeps kicking me out. So,
Oh no.
what is it called? Okay, so I did East Highland zip code of 92346. That's the one I usually do. With active listings, I did 7 days for the last 7 days just because we already had covered 30 days. So I figured, I'm going to do the last 9 days. So in the last 9 days, there's 14 active listings on the market, 29 went pending in the last 9 days, and 9 closed. Average list price, $381, and then average sale price is $380, which is good. That means they're getting pretty close to asking price. And average days on the market is 29 days. So it is moving very, very quickly out there. I know our listing in Fontana that I listed 2 days ago or 3 days ago. In 2 days, we had multiple offers, every single offer over asking price, no closing costs, very short terms on everybody. And I actually had 9 out of those, I don't even know how many offers cross qualified, and all of those buyers were strong buyers.
Awesome.
So it is very competitive out there right now. So if you are a homeowner and looking to sell to get your equity out of your home and move into something else, or just take your equity and run to a different state, now's the time. Especially in Fontana, it's crazy. Like I could not believe how many showings there was in 2 days. There was over 30 showings in 2 days. It was crazy. So, and
Wow.
that was only within a 4-hour showing time window. So.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
yeah, buyers are definitely hungry. They're hungry
for sure.
They you know what, guidelines have loosened up once again, which is good. I mean, there's a lot of, not every program's available yet, but we are seeing more and more options where that was like kind of pulled back right away. Some of these banks are offering a lot of great incentives as far as like the rate on a couple. And there's a program through one of the banks, and that they're offering refinances at 2.5% as long as you qualify. And they're doing it because they're realizing that they want to pick back up because they kind of put a halt on everything. And all of a sudden rates went up, and it was just crazy because of all the uncertainty. But that tells you how strong they're seeing the market. They're projecting, unemployment is better than what they thought. They expected it to be higher than what it is. And some unemployment right now, what we're seeing is by choice. And because people can go back to work, there are jobs. I know even just within our company, there's jobs available. So if you're looking for, an opportunity, definitely reach out to us. There's several different openings. But again, right now, what we're noticing is a lot of people aren't applying because they're collecting unemployment and they're at home. So it's more of a choice for some people, not for everybody, but for some, it is definitely a choice right now. So that tells you again that we're not in those times where it's like, it's just bad. There's so much opportunity out there, but you have to, obviously know who to talk to, and go in the right direction and, for that. But let's see here. I don't know who this is, but good morning to you too. Good morning to you. And then they can't believe it's Wednesday again. I know. Wednesday honestly comes
so fast.
It really does. But it's a day that we all look forward to. So we know that we have to show up. but yeah, so and then getting into that as well is we wanted to talk to you guys in regards to buying new homes, because like we're saying, the inventory is so tight right now, that it's important to know that obviously we know that the option of buying a new home is out there, so if you don't want to deal with bidding wars and all that stuff, you definitely can go and buy a new home, that's going to be built for you. You can, choose, upgrades and what have you, but it's just really important that that it's more complicated and more intimidating than buying a resale home. It really, really is. And especially when you walk in there, see the perception, and I believe us as agents, it's our fault because we don't educate the consumer. So that's what we're here to do. Because a lot of times consumers believe, and they even believe this on resale homes, they believe if I go directly to the listing agent or to who's selling the home, I'll get a better deal. But what they're not understanding is that, number one, they don't pay for a buyer's agent, that they don't have to pay for it. So it's a free service to them. So obviously choose wisely, because you get to choose whoever you want. So you want to make sure you're working for someone, or you're hiring someone to work for you rather, and to make sure that they're doing their job for you. But when you go into the new builder, the representative is there to represent the builder. At the end of the day, their best interest is to the builder. They have certain quotas they have to meet. You have certain things that they have to do, and unfortunately, your best interest is not what's looked at. So there's nothing wrong with you, asking for, guidance and help, but we have to attend with you on your first visit. That's why the builders do that, because they really don't want us to be there, because they don't want you to ask any more questions than you should. And that's why it becomes an intimidating process, because they just basically hand you the contract and you're just signing away. I've been in appointments where they don't explain anything. And if you're not, if you don't have someone there explaining it for you, or if you're not savvy, you could end up signing something that you end up realizing later it affects you, so there's been several instances where, there's certain things that weren't disclosed, and then it's kind of too late. It's take it or leave it type of thing. So that's why, again, you should, never go without us. Make sure you're calling us and letting us know, hey, you know what, I'm interested in new homes. We'll be happy, to escort you and give you all the details on each community, because each community has different, they have different incentives, they have different tax rates, they have different maybe special assessments, Malaroos, associations. There's just so many things that are involved that we recommend that you definitely, reach out to an agent. What has been your guys' experience with that?
I mean, like we've said before, if the sales reps are not there for you, then they're there for the builder. You walk in and you're at their mercy pretty much. They're gonna get you and they're gonna tell you what you want to hear. And then, I've had it multiple times where buyers call after they're already in a contract, and it's like, I could guide you, but I can't help you because I'm not your rep, And it's tough when you hear somebody's situation that they're currently in, and you have your hands tied as an agent to try to help them. So I think for me, if anybody that is interested in looking for a home, and even, new builds right now, depending on the community, they do have a waiting list. They do have new phases that are coming out and they're already sold out. So yeah, just because it is a new build, doesn't mean that you're going to get what you want. It's not necessarily true. That's why it's good to take an agent with you, so that you can know every single one of your options. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now they're lining up. There's a lot of buyers, lining up for these new homes. So again, just make sure that, you're doing your research, and there's a lot of new builds and a lot of, in cities. So, that's what we do. We study the market, we study the different, builders that are building, because not every builder is created equal either. There is different types of warranties. So it's important to know what is actually covered when buying a new home, because a lot of people think, I'm buying a new home, I will never have any issues. And that is not 100% true. So again, just knowing all those facts, a lot of times we think, oh, it's new,
Right.
And then a lot of times what you get is not what you see. A lot of builders, obviously upgrade their homes to look beautifully. For an additional, 50 grand, you can have the same home. But it's kind of deceiving, because you walk in and you fall in love with this house, and then you're like, oh, wait, this,
Oh, that's all the upgrade.
You think everything's new. You're like, oh, I'm gonna get a brand new home. There's nothing wrong with this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
No, it's like, imagine going on a date and you see this guy and you're like, okay, this is what I'm getting. And then they're like, no, just kidding. This is what you're getting.
2 months later, and you're like, wait a minute, this is not the same person.
You're like, where's my warranty?
What happened to that guy?
Can I have my test drive back?
Right? No, it's true.
Is there a limit law?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's so true. But I know we're all about being positive, and it's so important to be positive. And that's one thing that I love about us, that we we can laugh and have a good time. But I did wanted to kind of just talk to you guys in regards to a few of my clients. Have had family members recently pass away very young. And just, they're at work and just, get sick. And it's honestly, I'm just really surprised, because I know a lot of us, haven't really had it happen directly to us. But just hearing in the past few days, like I said, a couple of my clients have lost, sister, brother, and just cousin. And it's just been like, wow. And discussing with them and hearing, they didn't have any underlying symptoms. And they're young, 30, 35, just going to work. So they're not sure where exactly, it happened. But just take care of yourselves. Just make sure that, you are washing your hands, you're doing those things, because we just, I think because of everything else that's happened, we're just kind of like everyone's saying, what happened to that? What happened to it? But it's, I mean, apparently it's, there's still, signs of it and things happening. So just be careful and make sure you guys are taking the precautions that you need to, and not just forget about it completely.
Yeah, I think that as it gets closer to you, it starts getting a little scarier, because before you would think like, oh yeah, that's happening in like LA or like Orlando or like somewhere else. But then when you hear about family members or you hear friends, it starts getting like real, and you're like, oh my God, like this is serious. But we should be taking it seriously.
So just like I said, just make sure you guys are, taking care of one another. And speaking of taking care, so were you guys on the call last week when we had the psychologist on with us?
Yeah.
Oh no, I wasn't.
Yes.
Were you Catherine, or no?
Oh, I think she froze.
She's smiling. I'm like, she's smiling.
I'm like, is that a like, no, I didn't, or yes?
It's frozen again.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, anyhow, just to kind of get back to the call really quick, it's actually been something that I've really been thinking about, and I just kind of wanted to share for those of you who weren't on the call with us. We had a psychologist as a special guest on our one of our happy hours, and she did like this experiment with us, which I thought was really cool. So if you ever want to, just try it out yourself, go for it. But basically, she had us get cups and write on each cup what it represented. So it was you know, family, work, spouse. What else was it? Just
Family, work, spouse. I think it was health.
yeah, health and
Health.
just different things. There was different things, and she had, you know, 2 glasses of water filled, and she said, pour water into each cup to where you believe that you what do you call that?
You're
Like
investing
how
time.
much you feel that you give to it, like how much, you know, time and energy you give to each cup. And it was interesting because we're all pouring into our cups, right? Realizing, wow, we give way more here and not enough here, or why isn't it balanced? You know, it just, you know, there's always some portion that suffers, I guess you could say. But at the end of the day, she says, how much did you leave in your cup? And I don't think anyone even had a cup for themselves. So it just, I mean, and a lot of us, well, I think all of us were females on the call, but it's like, as a mom and a wife, a lot of times we don't really leave that for ourselves because we're too busy making sure this is right, making sure that's right, worrying about everyone else, you know, but ourselves. And so it was really interesting, and just how she says, you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. So make sure that you guys are taking care of yourselves, which could mean a variety of things, whatever it is that you need. We need to be strong emotionally, you know, physically, mentally, and what do we need to do to be able to do that? So it could be, I don't know, what is it for you, Catherine? I mean, like, I know you love to dance,
Oh,
exercise, like
yeah.
all those things, you know, fill you. And I think that that's important, you know, so that way we can get up every day and be ready to, you know, take care
Yeah.
of everything we're responsible for.
Mhm.
Right, absolutely. For me, it is definitely, I mean, I love dancing. It's definitely something that I have been trying to do at home just with my kids and just kind of enjoying the time together. But then also, for me right now, lately, it's been working out. I've been going to a trainer for 2 months now. So I'm really trying to improve myself and how I feel, because I know that once I start taking care of myself, and it goes everywhere else, you know, like my mindset starts getting better. You know, I start, you know, thinking about different things. It helps, it overflows into everything else. And so like what she was saying is basically true. I mean, when you take care of yourself, and, you know, and it's not so much self first, and then you have something to give others, you know what I mean? And it's so yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of others. And I can attest to that firsthand, because when I was, you know, when I was married before, I never took care of myself. It was everybody else, what they needed, what they wanted. They were hungry. They did this. They didn't, you know, go to the store, go pay the bills, you know, groceries. Like, I never took time for myself. I didn't have friends. There was just nothing that was for me. So once I started thinking about me, and then now it just infused into everybody else. And now my kids are seeing the outflow of that too now. And now they're like, Mom, I can't believe it. I thank you for everything you do, blah, blah, blah. Like, you've taught me a lot. Good morning, Anthony. You know, just things like that. And that's what you want. You want to inspire others, right? So, but you got to.
We get it, Catherine.
That you.
She keeps.
Oh, sorry.
You keep freezing.
I keep getting off. I know.
We get it.
What, you
know. We get it. We get it. You're
yes.
It's because we're mad because you're outdoors and we're not. So
Yeah.
Yes, we are. You look like you're in a beautiful spot
I want
too.
to be where you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
And oh, actually, and leaving. I'm visiting my dad again. It's a Father's Day, so coming up. So I wanted to come visit him for Father's Day. So it was more intentional.
Awesome.
You know, he's getting older, and I don't want to regret not seeing him. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go spend some time with him. So that's why.
That's awesome.
Done. Soapbox done.
Vanessa, I 100% agree. I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's just normal. It's definitely normal because then the kids are like, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" And you're like, "Really? I don't do this every day."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like sometimes they think you're there for that, just to take care of them, and you're like, no, I am a person too. And I think I don't know. I think they see you as their mom or like their parent, and they just go to you, but they forget that you're human too. You have to take care of yourself as well. And I think showing them that too, like leading by example, is like a really good thing because they see and they observe everything. So it's good to take care of yourself so they can see that, you know, it's important to do that in the future for themselves as well.
right.
That's true.
Good. Well, today we have the honor of, let's get Miss Marlena on here.
Where's she at?
Oh wait, here's my favorite title.
I have this really cool slide
Ooh,
on my
I love your
camera. I have this really cool slide on my camera on my computer, and I open it, and now I'm closing it. Watch. Isn't that cool?
Is that the one that you gave us or no?
Yeah, that's the one that goes on that little chinga on your camera.
I got that too. I
So
got
put
it right here.
That's it. You put it on there, and you open and you close it. And that way, if you want to like get up real quick, but you don't want to actually go off air, then you can just close it.
Ah.
Oh,
I'll have to send you all one.
Yeah.
But guys, seriously, like Catherine, like you guys were saying about, you know, like us feeling good, like that's what it's all about. Like we are the glue to our families, and we are the go-tos. We're the moms, we're the girlfriends, the wives, whatever we are. And if we aren't taking care of ourselves, like our homes fall apart, bottom line, because we're grumpy, which turns into come home, scream, yell at our kids or whatever it may be, and it just turns our whole household upside down. Like it's like, that's why it's good to do what we love to do. Of course, you all know for me, it's like starting my morning in the
gym.
Yep.
I think it's the system today because it did it to me earlier.
Is that how it was like?
Yeah, I know. So, okay, so Sonia, I am going to just kind of share. I know we all know basics about what title insurance is, and sometimes we get so much into like the technicalities of it, but it's really plain. It's simple. Basically, you are listing your own home. You now have a buyer that comes in to get into escrow on that home. And title insurance is basically a title policy that is provided to the buyer. And a lot of times it's usually paid by the seller. But basically it's a title insurance policy that's provided to the buyer, ensuring them that there is no liens, there is no encumbrances, anything that could be recorded on a property or of the to the previous seller will obviously show up. And all of these items need to be obviously cleared up before that buyer takes legal hold to that property. So when that buyer makes their purchase of title insurance, if they have a loan on that property, the second policy is provided to the lender. The lender will be ensured that they also know what's going on with that property before providing that loan to that property. Okay, so super easy. Let's just say title insurance doesn't work like homeowners insurance, because I do get that question a lot. When you get a homeowners insurance policy, you purchase it today, you close that today, and it's going to cover you from today forward, right? Title insurance works different. It goes, I'm insuring myself when it closes today backwards. Okay, so that's just basically, honestly, all you really need to know. Title insurance, you pay for it today, you close that escrow, and I am insured that nothing is going to come up to haunt me on that previous seller. Make sense?
Yeah.
Super, super easy. Any liens on the actual property? I'm sorry, somebody's saying something?
No.
Okay. Any liens on the actual property? Because, you know, when we have a judgment, let's just say I have an IRS lien. They try to obviously work with me prior to anything attaching to that property I own. But if I'm ready to sell and I've not wanted to deal with that federal tax lien all these years, I'm definitely going to be paying for it with any proceeds coming out of escrow, because I will not be able to walk away from that property without it. Any liens like city liens, any like trash liens, anything you get hit for with that also needs to be taken care of before that new buyer takes the property over. Okay. I'm going to give you a scenario just because it comes up a lot. Let's just say I have a sister and her and I own a piece of parcel or a piece of land together. Okay. I'm going to deed my portion to her because I'm done. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Maybe she gave me some money. Maybe she gave me 10 grand to just deed her over the property. Okay. Now that property becomes hers. 2 years later, she's ready to sell this property, and I came off. I'm gone. I'm nowhere to be found, but now she's ready to, and oh, by the way, when I deeded over the property to her, I didn't get any title deed, a grant deed, and moving it into her name. And I didn't get any title insurance on that deed. And I just went to the county and recorded it over the county records. Okay. So it was uninsured. And there's no way to really insure a deed when you're not doing a refinance or change of property, which is the buyer and the seller. There's really not a way to do it. So 2 years later, now my sister is ready to sell that property. She's got her escrow company, she's got her title company, and she's ready to go. Now she's ready to close, and we've all submitted an SI, which is the statement of information, because we can't close any title. That's the one pertinent information that we need, is that SI. And the SI, if you don't know, is 10 years of where the sellers have lived, where they've worked, who they've been married to the last 10 years, their socials, their birth dates, it's everything. Now we've turned in those documentation, because I had to sign one too for her because I was once on that property. So I submit mine as well as she submitted hers. A $50,000 tax lien came up for me, but I don't own the property anymore. So she thinks, I don't own the property anymore, I'm gone. So it's fine. No, she has to pay my $50,000 tax lien because I once owned that property with her. And there was no title insurance. Had we done it properly and did like a refi me off of the property back when I deeded it over, then it would have been caught then and it would have been handled. But because there's no title insurance on that grant deed that was recorded, she's liable. She has to pay my $50,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because your people will come to you and they'll say, I want to take my brother off a title. And then you'll call me or you'll call your escrow or somebody to help you do that deed. And we have no problem doing that. I can help you with that. But nobody really understands as the consumer that you're not helping yourself just taking somebody off a title or just, adding somebody on title. So you have to be really, really careful with that. Yeah. So when you take a listing, this is just been my 101 training for a realtor. When you go out and you take that listing, the normal process is your client, your seller is going to get that SI in their documentation when they sign their like the disclosures and whatever the documents that escrow needs to get back from your seller, the initial package. Your SI is usually in there. What I always say to you listing agents, when you go out and take that listing, when you sign that listing agreement, when you have that listing agreement signed, I say, and sometimes it's a harder conversation because it's a lot of information and it's personal. So sometimes sellers will have a problem with it. But if you can get that document filled out right then, send to me as your title person. I get it ran prior to going into escrow, so that way you know what needs to be worked on prior to 30 days down the road. Now you're in escrow and something comes up. We could have at least been working on it to get it cleared up or demands ordered or whatever we need to do before you get to that 9th hour. Okay.
Right.
Any questions?
That's really good information.
Yeah.
No, I think that is definitely good information. And I think, like you said, we get a lot of calls for people wanting to add or remove, or but not really understanding that they're also adding more, possible liability. Like you're saying, some people think that it's easier to do that than to actually do a trust, which it's not. Because they're not, they don't realize, like you're saying, the liability that they're putting on.
Exactly.
Taking on anyone else's debt and stuff like that. So it gets complicated, and especially if they're married and they just sign it like that. And I mean, it really can get complicated. So
sometimes we run into the fact that, just say you have a buyer, and we do run buyer SIs. Okay, so let's just say you have a transaction and we've just ran your seller SI. We now run buyer SI because we were one company that really never did. But what we don't do, like other companies, is when we run your buyer's SI and there's liens on them, we're not going to collect, we're not going to worry about it until the time that they sell. So we do check them, but let's just say your buyer has just signed escrow. This has happened a lot too, where escrow, you have tried to get that person, maybe they're not legally divorced, they're legally married when they're really not. Like, it's just what it is, right? So all these things come up with married, unmarried, and single. Situations always come up. So keep in mind, no one, once you're divorced, you're never ever a single person again. You become unmarried in the eyes of title. So come across that a lot, where people come in single, they try to take title single, and then you have all the other documentation that shows them unmarried or still married, so they're showing married. So then it becomes this big chaotic mess, because now we're trying to figure out, is this person single, unmarried, or still married? So you have to be really careful with that.
Yeah. And we have clients who've asked us, why do I have to be unmarried? I let go of that guy a long time ago. They're like, I want to be single. We're like, well,
sorry. Nope, you're never single again.
Yeah. No, honestly, we've had Jessica.
Yeah, we have. We
like,
got someone that got really mad.
It's funny, but
I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ask, what's the point of the title insurance? And you guys as agents, Marlena actually has provided us with something to include in your listing package, educating the sellers, because when you're explaining to them their net sheet and why are they paying for this insurance, is it necessary? What is it? So there's, it explains that, the two types of, buyers and, and sellers, and the difference and why it's important. So
yeah, I have that too, Sonia. I still have those. It's a buyer and seller handbook. And we used to have them separate, where you have your buyers, we give them this handbook, you have your sellers, you give them this. Now we've combined them. So basically that buyer seller handbook explains the process from the beginning up until closing. It's got everything of how to take title. I get a lot of questions of that too. How should I take title? As a married person, or as a person purchasing a property with a sister, uncle, aunt, whatever it may be. It's like, how do we take title to make sure that, basically it's right of survivorship. Now it's funny, because when you talk to attorneys, they will tell you have to include the verbiage, right of survivorship on a deed when we're putting someone on then we have to put right of survivorship, because that just obviously means, you know, one of them passes, then it automatically goes to the next. But when you're doing a grant deed and you say joint tenancy automatically gives you a right of survivorship. So keep that in mind. If you're doing tenants in common, then you'll put a percentage of each person of what they own. So there's different ways, but that whole buyer-seller handbook has everything in there and explains what, you know, kind of to help your client out with and what they're trying to do, basically.
Right. Yeah, so it's all good information. Like I said, a lot of times we just, we think we know that, you know, it's just this simple, but like you're saying, the whole purpose of the insurance is for the title companies are going to insure if they're able to clear the title and make sure that everything was transferred correctly. I had a case where these buyers bought the house about 20 years ago. It was a weird situation. They bought the house like 20 years ago. They were never on title. The owner carried the note and said, I'm going to stay on title until you pay it off. And then once you pay it off, then I'll transfer title to you. So I went with them. They asked me to go with them to notarize, because he said he wanted, you know, the deed was now going to go into the buyer's name. They were going to take their last payment. So I went with them and I notarized the new deed for them to put it into their name. While when we went to insure it, because I told them, like, you're not just going to have him just sign it. You actually need to, like, you know, because they weren't going to run it through escrow or anything, but I told them you have to, because you want to make sure that, God forbid, something happens to this man, his heirs might come back and say, hey, this is part of our property. Like, anything can happen. So anyhow, we ended up doing that. They decided to open up an escrow and do the title. Well, what ended up happening was and this is something I went with Dawn. This was about 10 years ago, Marlena, this happened. But when the guy took title from the previous owner, so not my client taking title from current owner, when that current owner took title previously, like back in 1970 or even before that, the deed was not transferred correctly. So now we had to go all the way back. They would not insure the deed until they published it and said, if anyone else has any rights or believes they have anything to this property, we had to run it in the newspaper, I don't know, for 6 weeks or something. Mm-hmm. And if someone came up and said, oh, I want part of this property should have been mine, you know, from way back then they would have had an issue. Thankfully, nobody came forward. I think it's because they're probably all older or deceased. But it just goes to show you that the importance of it. You don't realize how important transferring title is, and to do it, you know, insured and right, because it could go back years and then you have an issue. And, you know, when it comes to money, when people know that they could be, you know, come into money, you know, everybody comes out of wherever they've been hiding, you know, and they want a piece of the pie. So it's interesting. Like I said, I've had a lot of different scenarios, but it's definitely very interesting, and it has shown me the importance of, you know, title. So do you Catherine or Brenda or Jessica, do you guys have any questions for Marlena?
I did, but she answered him while she was talking, so that was great. It's so informative.
Yeah, you guys just text, call me, whatever. I even have a lot of clients that send me their sellers if they have deed questions or transfers. It's something I'm really not supposed to do. It's legal advice. Basically, like adding or taking someone off title is a legal matter. And that person that just wants to add or take somebody off title goes to an attorney. They're gonna charge them $200 plus to do a grant deed. It's kind of crazy. So I'm more than, you know, willing to help your clients. And a lot of times I would just ask you should just take yourself out of it, give them my number and have them call me directly. Because then I take myself out of it later down the road by letting them know, like, I have nothing to do with this. I'm just helping you out with this document. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
the information where the information needs to go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anything else? Like anything else you have questions with as far as title, like profiles or any of my tools? Do you all use the Fidelity Agent One app? Or anybody use it?
No,
So let me just brief.
I need to get better at using it.
I'll brief that, Sonia, real quick. So the Fidelity Agent One app, and I ask about that app because it's our number one. I mean, we get calls just app a lot of times. I got a lot of customers because of this app. But basically, Fidelity Agent One is your seller's net sheets, your buyer's closing costs. And the wonderful thing about it is this has a full flyer program. Suitable for your social media uploads. So basically you can go on there. Let's just say you're sitting at a open house. There's a little tab in there that says rent versus buy. And you strike up conversations with that neighbor that may be renting down the street. And they're kind of talking to you about this, home that you're having the open house at. You can easily create a flyer based on your conversation and what they're paying for rent. And you can let them know what they qualify for as far as, when they're ready to buy. And you can upload the picture of that home that you're sitting at that open house. And you can easily text that whole flyer to them. Beautiful little flyer created just by using your phone. It's 99 cents a month. So it's $9.99 a year to purchase if you want to use the flyers within the program. But for free, you can do the buyer's estimates and the seller's closing cost flyers and just automatically send it with your phone. It's phenomenal. So I have that available. I could do one-on-ones with you and show you how it works if you'd like.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Marlena, how accurate would you say that those estimates are as far as, how like every escrow company has their fees and stuff like
That's
that?
right.
How accurate do you think that is to it?
Okay, so keep in mind the fees that are integrated into the program are Fidelity fees. So we have our own escrow, so the fees are definitely going to be different. However, whatever escrow company that you do use, you can ask them their fee based on per thousand or whatever their fees are, and you can go into the settings of the escrow area and you can change the fees very easily. Okay, you can either do that, or you can let your client know based on these fees, and you always want to do this anyway. This is just an estimate, but we all know that we want to get close as possible because we all know that those clients will hold us to it, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll say, well, you said per this paper or per this text that you sent me.
That's why I was asking.
Exactly, that this is what the fees are. So I always say, yes, you could integrate the SPs, whomever you work with, by simply asking them. And there's just a little area, which I could show you, Brenda, how to fix that or change that. Okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll actually do, I think it would be great for us to do a class on that, Marlena. So we'll get with you for that.
Yeah, totally.
We could either do it, via Zoom or something like that, but we'll get with you to get that done. I think that's important.
Okay.
And Josie's asking, what's the name of the app again?
Fidelity Agent One. ONE. Spell it out.
Yeah. So Fidelity Agent One, ONE. And like I said, we'll have further training on it, so that way we can take advantage of those tools. Absolutely. So, okay, well, thank you so much, Marlena. I appreciate your time. Thank you
for having me.
That's so helpful. Appreciate it very much.
Have fun, Catherine, seeing your dad out there.
Yes. Going to the beach today.
It's awesome. All right, ladies.
All right.
Have a good day.
Have a good day, Marlena. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. So that was definitely interesting. I hope you guys, got something out of that.
I downloaded the app right now.
Yeah.
Check it out.
I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I've talked to people and they're like, oh, I just went to Office Depot and got a grant deed, or I went online and just recorded it. Super important, you guys, super important. That's your home. You guys got to make sure that you guys are definitely protecting your investments. It's so super important.
Catherine, that would have been amazing to have Marlena with us on the weekend when we went door knocking. I mean,
Yes.
Right?
unreal, yes. And we were, all of us, our eyeballs were popping out like, no, you don't want to do that, because we ran into a homeowner that was telling us, oh, I'm going to just take off this person on time. And I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. Like, don't do that. You're going to screw yourself.
I was totally thinking about that situation when she was talking about it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask her, maybe she could make a little like video clip or something that I could send to him.
That would be great. Yeah.
I think he needs some guidance.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, because what happens is, and I've got these calls too, where they're like, hey, I'm on title with my son. My son was just in a car accident and I want to remove him from title in case he gets sued. But again, that doesn't necessarily, just because he's not there, doesn't mean that he's gone completely. So that's also something that they need to understand. But I've had those calls as well, from different homeowners. They're worried, or they're like, oh great, my son's now married, I want to take him off. But again, there's a lot of things. You just got to make sure you get the right information.
Scenarios with that. That's why you got to. There's so many different things.
And I remember we went over it when you had the attorney on, and she was saying that. She's like, don't ever put your kids on title. I remember she was going over it.
Yeah.
And like, it's crazy because at first, like, you're like, oh yeah, I'll just put them on there. Like, but you don't even think about the legality of the whole entire scenario. So it's good information to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, it's about that time again. We have to say goodbye, but it's been beautiful. It's such a nice day today. I'm so happy. I'm going to be out in the field today. So super excited that I get to spend some time outside. So yeah.
I wish I was at the beach with Catherine right now.
Huh?
I wish I was at the beach with Catherine right now.
I know. No, honestly, we have to make. We definitely
do one for sure.
We're gonna do one. We're gonna go have our brunch on the beach, and we'll do it from there. So, now that things, it's nice outside because the weather has been like weird. Like on the weekend, you guys saw it was drizzling. It's like, what the heck? And then it was so windy on Sunday and Monday. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. So today is a really nice day. And this is what people pay for, to be in Southern California for this weather. It's what they want, so that's the only reason why it's hard to leave Southern California.
That's the only reason why I'm here is the weather.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Weather.
My ass would be in probably Arizona or Texas.
Yeah. You know what? I don't mind Arizona. I love the heat. I'd rather have heat than cold. As long as I'm by the water, I'm good.
Me.
So, and I'll just go to the market at night when the sun's not up. It's
so hot.
It's ceviche and shrimp cocktails all day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Or shoot, you just have everything delivered to you.
Heck yeah.
But all right, you guys, well, have a good Wednesday. Enjoy,
guys. Enjoy the day. Be intentional.
Thank you. Have a good day. Enjoy, Catherine. Have a Mai Tai for me somewhere up on the water.
Have a beautiful day.